guys, it's Dr. George, and it's been quite a while since I've been on Tucked In Tuesdays, but it's Tuesday and it's 7:33 p.m. So, got to catch up on this book. Been learning a lot of things, seeing a lot of things. It's time to travel virtually. So, the first state that we're going to tonight is, y'all, I gained a little weight, so my giraffe isn't wanting to giraffe. But anyway, I digress. Hope you all enjoyed the snow. Those of you that don't get to experience snow that much, we're traveling today, and all of our states start with the letter N tonight. So if you're from any of those N states, it's your lucky night. So the first state that we'll be traveling to is Nebraska. Capital of Nebraska is Lincoln. Lincoln was originally a village called Lancaster, built in 1867. It was renamed in honor of no other than Abraham Lincoln and became the state capital. In the 1970s, the government chose Lincoln to be a refugee-friendly city. And in 2013, Welcoming America recognized Lincoln as one of the top 10 welcoming cities in America. Even more recently, the state of Nebraska resettled more refugees per capita than any other state during the 2016 fiscal year. That's impressive. Way to go, Nebraska. So, capital population 259,000, state population 1.8 million. Other large cities, Omaha, Kearney, Grand Island. They entered the Union March 1st, 1867. State flower is the goldenrod. State mammal, white-tailed deer. And Nebraska sits right in the middle. Can you see that? Right in the middle. And that's the little state flag that you see there. So let's see what cool areas they have in Nebraska. The first one is the original mart for hay is long gone, but Lincoln's thriving historic district is full of cafes, restaurants, and shops. That is at the historic Haymarket. The second place we're going to travel to is the Speedway Motors Museum of American Speed. It's committed to collecting, preserving, and sharing the history of automobiles and racing. Everything from hot rods to Indy cars is on display. The third place that we're going to travel is to the Pioneers Park Nature Center. Discover Nebraska's natural habitats by hiking through hundreds of acres of woodlands, wetlands, and tall grass prairies. Number 4, our stop there is Nebraska's Centennial Mall. Built in honor of the state's 100th anniversary, this public mall stretches 7 blocks to connect the capital and the University of Nebraska. Way to involve your students. Number 5, and that is called the International Quilt Studies Center. Nope, I'm sorry. The next one we're going to is the International Quilt Study Center and Museum. It's the largest public collection of quilts, and you're going to learn more about this classic handicraft there. And number 6, at the Arbor Lodge State Historical Park, it was here that J. Sterling Martin, founder of Arbor Day, and his wife, Caroline, first challenged people to plant trees and share their vision. Hence Arbor Day. Number 7, Sunken Gardens. A favorite event is the annual floral display with over 30,000 plants redesigned every year to fit a different theme. And the last place in Nebraska is the Hyde Memorial Observatory, the window on the universe. This window on the universe is run entirely by volunteers and dedicated to public viewing. So we're going to travel Nebraska. I had something else up, but I love a good observatory. So let's see what we can see about that. And it's temporarily closed. They're open every Saturday, year round. Let me share my screen so you guys can see. And there we go. And it's closed due to renovation. So back March 2025. It'll be back. But these are some of the presentations, and it's all free. So there's their 4 telescopes that they have. You can look at views from 4 different presentations at the museum or at the observatory. So there's an about guide. So let me see if I can scroll down and see the telescopes. Let's see. There's the 4 different types of telescopes. Nothing like the one I have. Nothing at all. So those are the telescopes that they have. Now, my brand is Celestron, but it doesn't look like that. So that's one thing that you can do there. And I'll go back to my original one that I wanted to look at. And that's the sunken gardens. So here you go. Remember, we talked about all the flowers and the hours. It's open 7 days a week. There's statues. The 2024 theme was the golden hours. So they have a theme every year. I don't see the one for 2020, 2025 yet. And then there's a healing garden, a perennial garden. So there's lots of flowers that you can see there. The next place that we're going to travel to is Nevada. So I already have it up. Prison Hill Recreation Area, and we'll talk about that. So Nevada is capital of Carson City. Following the discovery of gold and silver on the nearby Comstock lot in 1859, Carson City became a thriving commercial center. Even today, Nevada has produced more gold than any other state in the country. But Carson City holds records all its own. In 1988, the Women's International Bowling Congress Championship Tournament brought more than 77,000 bowlers to the city, settling a record for the number of competitors in a women's sporting event. Capital population, 56,000. State population, 2.7 million. Other large cities, Las Vegas, Henderson, and Reno. Date entered the Union, October 31st, 1864. The flower is sagebrush, and the state animal is the desert bighorn sheep. And there's Nevada near California there. And that's the flag. Very simple flag. So the first place we're going to visit is Skunk Harbor. Visitors must hike or bike a 1.6-mile trail to visit Lake Tahoe's picturesque hidden beach. Ooh. Skunk Harbor, I would have thought there were skunks. Number 2, some believe this historic mansion, the official residence of the governor and his family since 1909, is, guess what? Haunted. And that is the governor's mansion. Number 3, close to the city and easy to reach, this stunning waterfall is a popular place to beat the heat. And number 3, that place, if you travel there, is called Kings Canyon Waterfall. Number 4 is the Nevada State Railroad Museum. Visit the exhibits for a first-hand look at Nevada's railroad heritage, then ride an antique steam locomotive. Pretty cool. Some of these. Oh, there we go. Pull out some of those tabs and go back to here. All righty. Number 5, explore Nevada's natural and cultural heritage and celebrate the history of the state. And that is going to be at the Nevada State Museum. Number 6, Riverview Park, the 107-acre park where wild mustangs roamed, was designed to protect bird habitats. So wild mustangs. Oh my goodness. Let's see. We have a comment here. Let me highlight that. Hello. Hi, Nathan. It's been a while. Hello. Good to see you back. Number 7 is built from native sandstone and completed in 1871. This is one of the oldest Capitol buildings west of the Mississippi, and that is the Nevada State Capitol. And last place to visit is number 8, a vast 2,500-acre recreation area. It's a perfect place to hike, mountain bike, ride horses, and enjoy views of Carson City. And that's Prison Hill Recreation Area. So that's where we're looking at tonight. So it has all of the things you can do. It tells you a little bit about it. Like I said in the book, 2,500 acres, all natural. And so it's called Prison Hill. And you can hike, mountain bike, horseback ride off highway vehicles on the south end, or only experience great views of the Carson Range and Pine Nut Mountains. Enjoy the quiet and take some great pictures. So it's on the southeast end of town, so lots of things to do there. So if you want to visit there, you're more than welcome. And they also have a Carson City video, a visitor's guide that you can also look at all the cool places there. You can also request one. Our next state, and I've been to Nevada, New Hampshire, our next state. So this is the thing that we're going to look at there. It's the Long Year Museum. I'll have that up. So the capital is Concord. And in 1776, 200 years before I was born, New Hampshire became the first of the 13 colonies to adopt its own constitution, and the concern for timeliness didn't end there. 19 years later, a Concord inventor named Levi Hutchins invented a mechanical alarm clock to wake him up in time for work. So that's who I need to talk to. Oh, Levi, waking us up for work. The city later became famous for printing, granite quarrying, and building horse-drawn carriages. Now, the capital population is 42,500. 1.3 million is the state population. Other large cities, Manchester, Nashua, Portsmouth. Date entered the Union, June 21st, 1788. State flower, purple lilac. State animal, white-tailed deer. So here's New Hampshire way up. He's one of those, I call them a cluster state, way up there in the corner. Can you see it? It's, I'll put my finger on it, way up here in the corner, up there. You can barely see it, where that red is, and the flag. So let's travel. First place we're going is peek into the past at the historically restored home where the leader of Christian Science carried out her work. And that's Mary Baker Eddy Historical Home. And that's the home that we have up, and you can see it right there. Has a preservation award. It was awarded in December. So lots to see there. Beautiful home. So I'll leave that up so you guys can look at that home. Quite stunning. Number 2, since 1819, New Hampshire State Legislature has met in the same rooms in this historic building, and that is in New Hampshire State House. They still meet there. Number 3, this is the ideal place to learn about conservation and come face to face with birds of prey and other wildlife. Number 3, Susan N. McLean Audubon Center. And my friend, Kim Aguilar, loves birds. She even named her dog Birdie. So if you know her, tell her that Birdie came up tonight. She would love that place. Number 4 is the Kimball Jenkins Estate. And they left their estate to the people of Concord for the celebration of the visual arts. Number 5, John Stark statue. Major General Stark's famous "Live Free or Die" remark was adopted as New Hampshire state motto. Number 6, we're going to Daniel Webster State statue, and he is known as the Great Orator. This bronze statue honors one of New Hampshire's most famous Civil War era politicians. And we're going to go over to the Franklin Pierce statue, known as the 14th president of the United States and the only one from New Hampshire, remains a controversial figure. And number 8, Kiwanis Waterfront Park. Picnickers, walkers, and skateboarders flock to this park and escape park on the banks of the Merrimack River. That's in New Hampshire. Now we're traveling to New Jersey, and we only have one more state after this. So we're going to travel over to New Jersey, and I already have this park pulled up. If I can get it to go to that website. So New Jersey, Trenton is the capital. It was the site of a famous Revolutionary War battle. In December 1776, General George Washington led his troops against British forces in a decisive victory for the colonists. Before the battle, many soldiers had begun to feel discouraged about their chances of winning the war. But the Battle of Trenton gave hope and inspired more men to join the ranks. Capital population, 85,000. State population, 8.8 million. It's in Newark, Jersey City, Patterson. Date entered the Union, December 18th, 1787. Common meadow violet is the state flower, and the horse is the state animal. First place we're going to travel to is this park that we see here. And this is the mansion that is a centerpiece at that park. So it has some early histories, a little map drawn of the park. And that's a little overview that's in the 1920s. So it looks a little bit different. This is a painting done in 1931. And this is a carousel that they have as well. So lots of things there. But I'll let this play without the sound. Maybe it'll have sound. So I'm going to stop it there because I want to get through. But that's the park. It was designed by Frederick Law Olmsted. This 100-acre urban park contains everything from wildlife and monuments to a canal. Number two, we're going to the Trenton City Museum at, let's see, Ellerslie. Discover Trenton's artistic and cultural heritage at this fascinating museum housed in an 1848 villa, an Italian themed villa. Number three, the country's second oldest Capitol building, still in continuous legislative use, was built in 1792. The history there. That is called the New Jersey State House. Number four, Trenton's most recent memorial was dedicated in 2008 and celebrates New Jersey's contribution to its victory in World War II. That's the World War II Memorial. And then the Trenton Battle Monument is a statue of George Washington that stands on top of this 148-foot tall column commemorating the First Battle of Trenton. And then we have number six, this historic building, once used as barracks for both British and American troops, now offers visitors a peek at life in colonial times, and that is the Old Barracks Museums. And then number seven, Trenton's main public library, which is also called the Trenton Free Public Library, is one of the oldest in the state, houses historic documents and artifacts as well as books. And number eight, the 1719 William Trent House Museum. Visiting the oldest building in Trenton, once home to the city's namesake, is like taking a trip back in time 300 years. And I am going to, because remember, I don't read these books until the night that I pulled them out. I used to read them in advance so I wouldn't get words wrong, but then I give you a false sense, kiddos and grown-ups, of reading. It's okay to read and not know all the words. It would help if I actually spelled this right. There we go. Let's look at this. What did they say? 300 years. Pretty old. Yep. That looks like a very old home. Things still intact. Wow. And they have a website for that as well, the William Trent House. And it has everything there. So you can go there and learn all about it. All righty. So our last state, New Mexico. We actually drove to New Mexico. We drove. That was a very long drive. But Santa Fe is the state capital. The site of Santa Fe was home to Native Americans for hundreds of years before Spanish settlers arrived. Santa Fe, which means holy faith, was founded between 1607 and 1610, making it the nation's oldest capital city. Although it is in the foothills of the Sangre de Cristo Mountains, it's still 7,000 feet above sea level, which makes it the highest capital city too. So it's also the highest capital city. There are 70,000 people at the capital that live there in the city. State population, 2 million. The other large cities are Albuquerque, Las Cruces and Rio Rancho. They entered the Union January 6th. Happy belated birthday. 1912, state flower is yucca. And then the state mammal, American black bear. And there's New Mexico here. And New Mexico is one of the 50 states. A lot of people think it is Mexico, but it's actually, let me get my focus right. New Mexico, if I can get it. Can't get it focused. But New Mexico sits kind of right here by Texas, right on the other side of Texas. And I can't get it to focus. And the flag is very simple as well. The first place we're going to travel is Georgia O'Keeffe Museum. It's where the most iconic paintings inspired by the landscapes and light of New Mexico. Number 2, established in the 1770s and honoring Our Lady of Guadalupe, is the oldest standing shrine in the United States. Third, get a taste of life in the 1700s when the Spanish ruled New Mexico. Put New Mexico up here. Here we go. So there's New Mexico. By touring this ranch, a living history museum. Number 4, the Santa Fe Plaza. Explore the shops and live music at the plaza, a former fort that has been the heart of the city for over 400 years. Number 5, we're going to go up to the Palace of the Governors. Once the seat of Spain's government in the American Southwest, this national historic landmark now houses the state's history museum. I've actually been to the building that's coming up in a little bit. The San Miguel Chapel is a simple building. It's the oldest church in the continental United States and a wonderful example of adobe agriculture. And you see the culture there. Absolutely beautiful. Then number 7 is the Loretto Chapel. Many mysteries surround this chapel, and visitors come from all over the world to view the miraculous staircase. So I have that book as well. I bought there, and there is a staircase. I'm gonna let you see a little bit about it, but there is a staircase, and they also have the hot air balloon festival. But let me pull up the staircase, because we couldn't go on the staircase, but we actually got to take pictures of it. So the staircase has no support or foundation under it. I do remember that much. It's just built in a spiral, right? So it's built, and this is the church. So it's built, you can buy things from there, but the staircase itself, and there's a little story about the guy that built it, but there is not any support. It just kind of goes up with no support. And so if I remember, there was a guy that came into town, built the staircase, and then as mysteriously as he came, he left. So let me see if I can find this. Let's see, given the height of the loft, small size of the chapel, a staircase would have taken up too much floor space, therefore reducing the seating capacity to an unacceptable small level. Legend states that seeking guidance and help, the Sisters of Loretto prayed a 9-day novena to St. Joseph, patron saint of carpenters. Novena is a special prayer saved for 9 consecutive days. On the final day, a carpenter appeared with only a hammer and a carpenter square. He built what is now known as the miraculous staircase with simple tools and wooden pegs. The rare wood is not native to the American Southwest. When the staircase was complete, it is said that the carpenter disappeared without receiving thanks or payments. They tried lumber stores, could not find accounts open for supplies for their stairs. So some believe, I clicked too fast. So they tried to find him, and they felt like he just came in a trace to answer their prayer. So that's the staircase. Okay, pretty cool to see that in the book. So, and then the last place we'll go is both contemporary and historic art is an exhibit here, along with solo shows by living Native American artists. And that is the Will Wright Museum of the American Indian. And I love reading about these different states. We're almost finished our state books. Next week, we will be reading about New York, North Carolina, North Dakota, Ohio, and Oklahoma. That's our states for next week. Guys, it is a joy every time I come on here and I learn something new, but I always like to give a live because financially not everybody could travel, and when I was young I couldn't, so I always like to share. So let me share my place of travel tonight where your little ones or you yourself can travel. Let's see. So we are going to check the webcams in New Mexico. And we are going to look at, let's see, why not? Let's look at a ski area, a ski loft. Of course, it is closed tonight, but if you ever wanted to see a ski loft at night, share my screen. There it is. At night, a ski, nobody's there. You can see the snow there, but there's a live webcam. They also have a live web, and I mean, we can press it, but there's nothing going on there. But we can go there and see every webcam that they have right now. So this is Tahoe's Ski Valley. We actually did venture there. So you can see that little town and the webcam changing from one place to the other. Normally, these little towns shut down pretty early at night. So during the day, if you want to see people skiing, take you a free trip to New Mexico. One other thing I want to highlight in New Mexico is their hot air balloon. Oops, let me put it in Mexico. And it's held October 4th to October 12th. We missed it. It's held in Albuquerque, but it is well known. Has a countdown there. You can look at all the cool balloons for 9 days. It's an enchanted world of special shaped balloon rodeos, twilight balloons, glows, vibrant balloon-filled skies, all kinds of hot air balloons. Haven't been, but would love to go. I might be with you and traveling from afar. So they had a drone light show. They have a drone light show. And then they'll have a dawn patrol show and a morning glow and opening ceremonies. And there's another opening ceremonies. And as you can see, a mass ascension where they all take off, chainsaw carving, entertainment. So lots of things to do and see. So check back on those websites if you want to see things. It's all time stamp and you can see it. So guys, like I've always told you every single time that I read, if nobody else tells you, Dr. George loves you. I'll see you guys next week. If nobody else tells you, of course, I'm going to say it again. I love you. Good night. Rest well on purpose. And if nobody else loves you, tells you they love you, Dr. George does. Good night.